To repair this bondo job, I'll be sanding these parts over here, a little bit of the top, because there's actually a cover that's been taken off, so we'll only be slightly touching over here on the edge. But we'll sand this down completely to bare metal and start from scratch. So I've got the tailgate off, but as you can see, it's quite dirty, so I'll have to clean it before I can start any work. And I'll be recording me sanding down the bondo, this tripod right here. I've gathered up the materials I need. A mask for when I'm sanding, safety glasses, you don't want any bondo in your eyes, some rags. I'm gonna be cleaning the bucket. I'll be doing that shortly. This tape, this is for taping off the edges where I don't want to sand, to remind myself. And just a variety of sandpaper ranging from 80 grit to 800, depending on what step we're on. And some primer, some paint that I don't have yet, so we'll try to get some matching paint for this. See if I can match it correctly, which I've had trouble so far. Some polish and some bondo with some hardener and some putty right here, some finishing putty, which let's hope it goes well. So now on to the cleaning. Quick update, this is taking a lot longer than I thought, but I've got most of the bottom part sanded now. And one thing I forgot to mention was actually it's a good habit to tape off your edges when you're sanding, which is what I have done that you've seen me do. So let's keep going. So I've just sanded a large portion with this sander, and there's some parts that I can't seem to get to, which is where the original damage must have been. And over here on the edges, I might have to finish by hand sanding. But now that I feel it better, without the bondo on, there's actually a dent going outwards, like this. So I might use a hammer and dolly and try to get that even. But I'll first have to ask it and see if that's the right thing to do. But other than that, I'll continue sanding and try to get as many patches of bondo off, and if possible on. So I've sanded as much as I can with the orbital sander for now, but what I figured out is that I will need to hammer this down with a flat hammer, and I'll be also using this tool called a wire drill to get to these little bits that I can't. And well, I've never used this before, so wish me luck. The wire drill was very effective getting rid of those remnants, though I did change my drill head to this one, the side one, instead of the one that I had originally, because I figured out that as I was using the one that had the little ball that I showed at first, it would just bounce around and it was unusable. This, I could do it on the side and I have a balanced work like that. So I figured that I've done enough sanding in the video so far, and well, I'll cut back to when I'm gonna be hammering this down, which might be before I end. It's been improved quite a bit. As you can see in the video, I was feeling with my hand the entire time, seeing on my progress. But I may try to improve it a little bit off camera, because I think I might have dipped this one a little too low on this side. But after this, next thing you'll see me do will probably be the start of applying bondo, which maybe I can start today, but I'm not sure. I might have to wait until tomorrow. Here, let's just open this up. Oh. There you go. Bondo. Now, usually you want to use a mixing board, but cardboard is kind of a substitute, though it's not recommended. If you can get a mixing board, which is either paper or plastic, which is a white like surface, you can mix it on. Like I've already used this one before and it didn't turn out too bad, but remember, you're not supposed to do this. I don't have anything, but last job didn't turn out too bad, so I'll just start mixing and recording with the tripod again right here, the mixing process. So I just got shown, sorry for the cut, but I wanna actually follow the line, or the body lines that I've been reshaping with the bondo, so nice straight lines, just straight down. Get this back part too. But yeah, that's basically the basis, is that I want to follow a straight line. Try to cover all the middle. Because on the first coat, you want to put quite a bit of bondo, and then it's going to be sanded down. And I'm probably going to do a second coat, and that would be tomorrow, which, by the way, the day hasn't ended yet. But yeah, once I'm finished this, I'll probably come back to tomorrow on a second coat, or just show you that I'm gonna sand this down, most likely, with my hand sand. So I'll see you tomorrow. So far, sanding is going pretty good. As you can see, it's starting to get patchy, which is exactly what you want to see from the first time you're sanding. And at the beginning of that clip, actually, I started using the wrong grit, 1500. I somehow saw 150 in this. I was tired, but I started using 180 instead, and got the job done a lot quicker, as you can obviously see in the clip. But the plan is get here, more down to bare metal, just as smooth as possible, and get these edges off, which are all over. There are edges over here. It's actually pretty good, as I've been sanding with this edge, but basically it's take this block and sand with the edge of the body. So I'll be back once I'm done this part. I think I bored you guys enough with sanding in this video, so once I'm ready to apply the second coat of bondo, I'll be back. So here's the mixing board and everything. So yeah, see you then. Kneaded it already. I'm just about to apply it on. So just try to get a nice even spread. Just try this much and just spread it around here. Really good film. Yeah. Back. Don't have much, but yeah, that's about it. Let's get some more. And I'd rather do this with two hands, so I'll only be showing the top part. But just about like that, just following the body line. But yeah, I'll do it with two hands so I can actually do a good job, and I'll be back to show the results. I've just finished applying the bondo. Tried to make smooth outlines. Turned out pretty well on the top here, and this one not too well on the bottom. But coming back tomorrow, it's been a couple of days already, and I didn't work on the Friday and took the weekend. to get back. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be resanding again. And then hopefully on that same day, we can start going towards the finishing putty and wrap up this project. So that's the plan. I believe this is all I'll be doing when it comes to sanding bondo. The edges are smooth. The whole surface feels very much in line with the rest of the body for the most part, which is what you want near the end. So now it's time to try to put on the spot putty I was talking about earlier, which is this right here. Yeah, spots putty with spreader, just like the bondo, but this is a much more light. The way you apply this is much lighter than the bondo. It's more of a little, it's a product to fill in like small gaps in the bondo. So the way of applying it is different. I'll show you part of that, and then there's also a little bit of blending involved in this, just like in the bondo, but probably, or no, with higher grit sanding paper. Yeah. So yeah, as soon as I can get it set up, I'll be recording it. Now that the glazing putty's been placed, I gotta hope that it's not too thick, as that has been my previous mistake. But well, I'm gonna be sanding this with 180 grit, and the next step ideally would be putting on filler, or filler primer, and spraying it in coats, which I will also show through some kind of time lapse, most likely. But yes, this is how the putty looks like on it. It's meant to just fill small pinholes in the bondo, and you're meant to make very thin layers. It's just kind of like a little bit. Biggest comparison I would make would be kind of like liquidy-ish Play-Doh. So this is like, so yeah. That's what it looks like so far. It's looking pretty smooth, but we'll see how the paint turns out, because actually, paint's already here. Same color code and everything, so hopefully it can match well. Which I'll also show you the paint method later. So, yeah. This supposedly dries in 20 minutes. I might make another clip then, we'll see. So I brought the tailgate outside. I got it cleaned up where I'm planning to paint. And what I've done is I've taped off, for example, these holes on top. Make sure I don't get any paint inside. And the most important part about this though is this rolled paper that you see. It's a method to try to make the paint look more blended with the rest of the piece, of course. Because if I wouldn't do that, and I would just tape off the edges straight, which is what happened on the last job, it would just be a line, an obvious line, and the obvious difference. So this method right here, if you spray it correctly, it should be going inside like that, and kind of going in with the cut, like going in with the rest of the paint. So first we're gonna do the primer. Not sure how this top part's gonna work, because there might be some drip from it, but what we're hoping is that the cover that goes on top is gonna block that. But yeah, it's time to put primer on. Some garbage bags have also been avoided to avoid overspray. So here's the first coat, which is kind of a light go through. All right, now we wait like 20 minutes and we do another one, but I'm just gonna show you the heavy coat after this one. So previously I showed you a light coat. Now it's time for what we call the wet coat. This is the third coat we've done, and one coat has been done off camera. So yeah, this is the wet coat. It's more slow than the other one, and it's just. Right now with this we can really tell how good of a job we've done. Yeah. Primer is ready. It's been applied and let it dry over the weekend. Now I'll be sanding it with 800 grit sandpaper, very light grit, because my goal right now is to be able to feather the primer into the paint without scratching the paint. So I'm going to use a high grit with a sanding block again. And well, once I do that, I will move on to the painting, which will be a very similar process to what you saw with the priming. But I won't show the sanding again because, like I said, too much sanding. So the primer has been sanded, blended, and it's going to be painted now using pretty much the same method that was used for primer. Alright. So after this, there will be 2 more sprays, just the scene with the primer, 1 more light coat, and then 1 heavy coat. And then on top of that, we were put on a clear coat and then polish. So I'll cut back to when the clear coat is coming in, and those will be the final steps. And I think I'm gonna have to use a polishing machine. So yeah, we'll see how that works. All right. So it's been sprayed. This is the base coat done. So it's been done multiple coats, try to get a darker color to match more of the rest of the body. And this is the clear coat that needs to be applied, which is going to be along the same way that we've done all the rest. And then there'll be a couple more after this, and then a heavy coat to end it at the end, and then followed by polishing. This will be. So things done. Tailgate's been cleaned, both with soap and water and rubbing alcohol. Now it's time to wet sand, and then after that, polish. And I'll just throw 2 time lapses of that actually.
And you're gonna put 5 dabs, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm actually gonna spread it into the polisher, just so that we get even coverage, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna start on a low speed. So first I'm gonna get like this. I'm gonna do probably this in 2 sections. So I'm gonna start right here. You would dab it into the paint, like this. Mm-hmm. Oh no. And then low speed, 1 speed, just to work it in. And then you're gonna kick it up to a 5, high speed. And you're doing overlapping passes. with a little bit of medium pressure.
Okay, so here's the final result after polishing. There is a little bit of a color mismatch, but you can obviously see an improvement over the before and after. But there is some of the primer overspray that you can still see around these areas, around the edges, which is unfortunate because that's what I was trying to avoid. But I still need more experience with painting. But yes, I'll try editing in a before picture, but see, this is the after. All right, thank you for watching this journey.